Morning, good afternoon, good evening. One of the reasons why the 2017 military coup that saw Mugabe being ousted from power was the reality on the ground. Zimbabwe's economy was in a real mess. Millions were living in abject poverty. The party could not pretend this was sustainable. So when Mnangagwa and his colleagues staged the military coup, they knew that many in the party, even those hardliners, had come to the realization that the Mugabe dictatorship was unsustainable. And hundreds of thousands of ordinary Zimbabweans joined in demanding or demonstrating to see Mugabe go. Mnangagwa knew that he had to revive the economy. And if the truth be said, he has failed. There can be no doubt that Zimbabwe's economy is no better. Zimbabwe's economy, as much as he came with the promise of Zimbabwe is open for business, cocksure that that will open the floodgate of investors, that did not happen. He promised to stamp out corruption. Corruption is worse than ever before now. The reality on the ground speaks volumes. The idea that somehow he can keep on maintaining this propaganda position that Zimbabwe will attain an upper middle income status by 2030 is just a mirage. And he knows it. And every day he's being reminded of it. With the economy in the nosedive, Mnangagwa has been put under increasing pressure to hang on to power. Mnangagwa needs the loot to buy the blind loyalty of his Zanu PF cronies and the other ruling elite. But with the worsening economy, it means it doesn't have much room for maneuver. There is no loot, to put it plainly. And there lies his problem. But Mnangagwa, being the brute he is willing to buy the blind loyalty of his Zanu PF cronies and anybody else out there using some other currency, brute force. Here is Mnangagwa threatening his fellow Zanu PF leaders.
At this stage of our political development and with the maturity of our revolutionary party Zanu PF, It is disheartening to note the unbecoming levels of mudslinging and other counter-revolutionary tendencies, including the broadcasting of party issues on social media platforms. This is most unfortunate. These acts continue to cause discord and confusion among the membership base. No one who loves the party must put our party into disrepute. This is unacceptable. Such behavior cannot be tolerated and it must stop. Vari kuzviita chera chikomba mopfira mate mofutsa negumbo rokuruboshwe. Every member of the party must adhere to the provisions of our party constitution, our founding principles, and procedural integrity, including wide consultation and the formal ratification of issues that affect the party. Comrades,
this is a party that does not care about rule of law. This is a party that has never held free, fair, and credible elections. Zanu ropa. And now some of the party leaders are finding themselves being threatened. They know that this is just not an empty threat. Mnangagwa, of all the Zanu PF leaders, is renowned for his love of brute force to get what he wants. He doesn't care. He is going to hang on to power at all costs. Yesterday, we were discussing on this platform a video where the party spokesperson, Chris Mnangagwa, announced that the party has now come to the decision that Mnangagwa will be the party candidate for 2028. This is just a warning to those who dare oppose him. This is a party that does not tolerate dissent. Mnangagwa is determined to hang on to power at all costs. And if he can sacrifice his own fellow Zanu PF members, we can be rest assured that ordinary Zimbabweans out there, he'll just crush you like bugs. We are in serious trouble. That cannot be denied. Zimbabwe is facing its greatest economic and political challenge. Zanu PF is going to rig the 2028 elections. Mnangagwa is determined to see to that. The tragedy is we had the golden opportunity to implement the democratic reforms during the 2008 to 2018 GNU. Alas, we failed to implement even one token reform. And now we are paying dearly for it. We cannot deny that what we are seeing here Mnangagwa is going to stay in power. And that is the reality we now have to deal with. Anyone who thinks otherwise, they are being naive. We had the opportunity to stop this dictatorship. We failed to do so. Now we are paying dearly for it. I think it is important that we
Comrades,
to ourselves that we failed. We can bury our heads in the sand. This is not going to get us out of this mess. Mnangagwa rigged last year's election, and he even had the cheek of coming out and saying, I don't care what anybody else say. When SADC condemned Zimbabwe's elections as flawed. This is the kind of man we are dealing with. Here is Mnangagwa insisting that the elections, the 2023 elections, were free, fair, and credible.
Vana vakatuka Zanu PF kana ini ndonyanyisa kufara kuita zvakanaka. Ukavona vavengi vako vachikurumbidza nekuchikanganisa, ukavona vachiti Zanu PF yakaipa, farai. You are doing correct things for your country. Homu takaita maelections edu kuna vamwe vaitaura zvisina musoro zvikanzi maelection anafamba zvakanaka ndezvavo.
The Zanu PF membership, we are agreeing with him. I think this riot act that has been read to them, they will be the ones realizing that apply to them as much as to the ordinary Zimbabwean. I would like to finish by emphasizing the point that we can get out of this situation. We cannot stop Zanu PF rigging the elections. We cannot stop Chamisa and company participating in these flawed elections. What we can do is make sure that Zanu PF does not have political legitimacy. If Zimbabweans do not participate in these flawed elections in the millions, as we saw last year, then SADC will deny the regime political legitimacy. SADC itself condemned last year's elections, but they could not go the next step and deny Zanu PF legitimacy because Zimbabweans had participated in those flawed elections in their millions. Millions of the Chamisa Chete Chete brigade were conned into participating in the elections on the belief that Chamisa and company would win rigged elections. It didn't happen. And those millions do not even have the guts to admit that Chamisa lied to them. That is the kind of problem we have here. It is up to us to make sure that we do not have a repeat of last year. It is within our power to stop this dictatorship. We just need to think, to use our heads for a change, and not be so easily conned into doing foolish things like participating in flawed elections again and again in the hope that the opposition would finally win. Thank you very much for those of you who were able to join. And I hope you'll be able to join us again tomorrow, 6 o'clock UK time, 8 o'clock Zimbabwean time. Good night.